coming. Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by the host, Uncle Joey. Matt LeMaster's hosting down in the right corner. Appreciate y'all coming in tonight. We're a little early tonight, which that's cool with me. I get out here early. Usually right now I'm asleep in the chair in between. But we got a special guest, my man Tracy Bumgarner from Flaming Aces Distillery, newly opened. Awesome coppersmith from Ace Custom Copper. If you haven't seen what he does, you need to check him out. You're missing out. So if you ever want to see one of his stills in action up in Ohio where we're at, you could go to Bent's. John Bent's. He's got that big old beautiful still in action. And we know that he's running his own stills in his distillery, so we'll let him talk about them here in a little bit. So welcome to the show, Tracy. We appreciate having you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. We've been kind of dancing around getting you on. I know with your work schedule, you get up early, I get up early. So when you told me you needed to go early, it didn't upset me one bit. So it helps me out too as well. So we're all good with that.
Yeah, and with the distillery and the copper shop and my career, time with my wife is limited too. So
I completely understand that. I get that.
Can't skip on that, or you won't have half the shit you got. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Yeah, a couple times.
How do you get rid of halves more than once, though? Like, is it just like half of what I have now, or is it like they keep getting half of your new?
You got to go by percentages. So the first half,
by the second or third time, they're only getting about 25.
Okay.
So the third one only gets 12.5%.
Yeah, okay, so I got you. The more you stack them up, the less everybody gets.
Yeah, my dad had a friend when I was growing up that had 4 divorces, and he told my dad, he said, the next time I find a woman I think I want to marry, I want to fall in love with, he said, I'm just going to buy her a house and a new car and leave.
Makes it a lot simpler, huh?
Just get to the point. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on, Tracy. So you started you're a coppersmith. That's what started first. That's been going on for a while now.
Yeah. As far as a business goes, a legal business goes, that's what's been going on for a while. Being around moonshine and distilling and all that, it goes all the way back to when I was 13, 14 years old, carrying corn and sugar and stuff into the woods. And our dads would take us back home because our moms didn't want us to be around it. So they just used us for labor. We didn't even really know,
Yep.
I don't even think we really knew what was going on and how big they were in the moonshine culture at the time. Growing up in Wilkes County, North Carolina, that's where I'm originally from. And this may ruffle some feathers, but the real moonshine capital of the world. At one time, there were 784 revenue agents in Wilkes County.
Wow.
So the revenue agents viewed Wilkes, and law enforcement viewed it as the moonshine capital of the world. They said there was more alcohol coming out of Wilkes County than anywhere else in the United States. So that, being around that, growing up there, the birthplace of NASCAR and all that, fast cars and moonshine.
Yeah. Liquor fast cars, man.
Yeah, that story is always wild. How they say, really, if it wasn't for moonshine, there probably would have never been NASCAR. Yeah, that's kind of how them old boys souping up them cars and running like hell. That's kind of how the idea kind of got started, man.
Yeah, I can't confirm it, but I've been told by multiple different older family members and stuff that at one point, Junior Johnson may have worked with my great grandpa. At a steel side, either as a steel hand or working together. So, my roots go way back in it. And, I tell people all the time here at the distillery, they're drinking Wilkes County liquor made in East Tennessee because all my recipes and stuff came out of Wilkes County. So I'm a firm believer of your ingredients, and how your process goes really determines how your liquor is.
It's
I'm
best.
very meticulous. I do things the same way every time. At least I try to. Every once in a while, you make a mistake, and sometimes they turn out great. And sometimes
Right.
they,
Right. So,
Sometimes they turn into apple pie. You know what I'm saying?
so on those recipes, did you have like a number of relatives that were in the game, or was it just a
Yeah.
few of them? Okay.
yeah, a number. And my so my great grandfather he was actually a doctor, preacher, and moonshiner. And
There's a combo for you.
And that's very
Yeah,
listen. That's very common. That was
Uh-huh.
that was a common thing, man.
yeah, because he would preach funerals, weddings, revivals, that kind of stuff, and deliver babies and doctor people and take supplies to make liquor as payment. So that was kind of wild. I know that the rumors are that he funded building 2 churches there in Wilkes County. But there's one church that if you walk through the graveyard, and it's a massive graveyard, there's probably over 200 Bumgarners buried there. So it's kind of wild to be around it like that. I've got some old family recipes that's been passed down. I've got a few that I've come up with on my own. But for the most part, I'm just trying to do what I know works. And so far, the response I've gotten from people have been unbelievable. The first thing they say is they can't believe how smooth it is. And then they can't believe what proof it is. And, I don't use any syrups or anything. I do everything 100% all natural. And I don't buy anything as far as alcohol goes. I ferment it. I mash it in. I ferment it. I distill it. I designed all my labels. I did all my paperwork for the TTB stuff. I do all my bottling. My wife helps me with bottling and labeling, but it's really 100% a one-man show, other than my wife. And now we've got a good bartender, because in Tennessee, as a distillery, you can serve cocktails. So,
and that's where your money's at. Big money.
yeah,
Got to get in on that.
So that's kind of what we're doing. And right now, there's probably not another distillery in the country, not saying anything bad about anyone else, that's a one-man operation that makes everything themselves, that has 14 labels, 14 different bottles on the shelf.
Wow.
That opened July 16th. We did our first legal run June the 1st was when I did my first legal run in this building.
Man, it's good to hear that it's a lot easier in Tennessee than it is up here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think John's a little jealous because in 3 months, I went from applying November. So I applied November 4th for my license for my federal TTB. January the 1st, I had my federal TTB license. I turned around that same week and applied for my Tennessee state license. I would have had it February the 15th, but the schedule was too full. So they moved me to March. So March 15th, I had my state. I was fully legal at that point and hadn't even really started on the renovations good, because based on John and others, I figured I was going to go a year on my federal, and then it take me another 6 months to a year to get state afterwards. And I turned around and was fully legal in 3 months.
Wow.
It's wild. I would love to know why the difference. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man.
It's the state, man. It's the state.
Yeah.
Like, like our state wants their finger in every little piece that they just want it all. They want it all. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference.
Yeah, I'd say that's a big difference on the state thing. My wife says it's where I work for the federal government on the federal side, that I could look at what their documentation said and I knew what to give them. And when the inspector called me that was looking at my application, I could talk to her on her same level. And, we were talking, she was getting ready to retire, and we were talking about retirement and all that stuff and working for the federal government. And the next thing you know, the next day, my packet was approved. So I think that probably helped a lot.
So was it pretty easy to get your copper business? Was that a pretty easy? That was probably a simple process to get that up and rolling.
My business
just
license.
starting a business. Yeah, it's wild that the business to make stills is simple, but the other end of it, you got all the paperwork and legal hoops and shit like that.
Yeah,
crazy.
And then once I got the state approval, I thought, okay, I'm done as far as that stuff goes. Then I found out that I already had recipes and labels approved federally, and then I found out I had to register every label with the state and pay a fee for every label, and then you got a renewal fee for every label, and so there's a lot of that goes on into it, and you've got multiple reports you got to fill out federally by the 15th of each month, where they track everything right down to every ingredient you have in stock, and then your state turn around. The state's really easy. You have one report you file each month, and where Tennessee is a 3-tiered system, basically everything, even the stuff on the shelf behind me that I sell here out of the distillery, has to go through a distributor, and I can't pay my tax directly to the state. I have to pay it through a distributor. Yeah, I see Megan's comment about the shelf that Josh built for us that they brought up Saturday. It's behind us.
Nice. I saw that they paid you a visit.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh did build all my shelves in here, and couldn't thank him enough. They worked out perfect. They looked like they were, that the whole place was designed around them, so it worked out great.
I know all the pictures that I saw in there, man. The layout is awesome. It went from the ground zero to boom. You had your stuff in there, like you said. The shelves looked like they were in there. That's how the building came.
So this building, actually, see, my copper shop's on the other end of the building.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I had this end rented for storage, and it's where I had all my grain and my supplies and everything stored over here. And when we decided to open the distillery, me and my wife was talking about it and said, it'd be really cool to have it right next to the copper shop. And that way, if somebody wants to see the copper shop, I can show them around over there and all of that. So I talked to the building owner, and he says, yeah, I'll give you a 5-year lease, and everything stayed just the way it is, and the rent stayed the same, everything. So he said, do what you want.
Nice.
And let's be honest, not to interrupt you, but they come into your shop there, your distillery, and they're drinking liquor out of a still that you made. You can walk them right down there. Hey, you can make this at home. You know what I mean? You're almost the distillery is almost a salesman for the copper shop, man. You know what I mean? You make good liquor. Hey, you can make this you can make this yourself.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep 2 or 3. Like if I've got a finished still that a customer's coming to pick up that's ready, I'm putting it over here in the distillery, so it's it's stuff for people to look at too.
Nice.
And there's been a lot of those type conversations. And if somebody comes to pick up a still, I bring it down here, and they pick it up from actually down here at the distillery.
So, how early did you say you got started working with copper? At what age did you say you started the whole process?
Well, I actually helped my uncle build a moonshine still when I was about 14 years old.
So 13, you're carrying the sugar and the corn, not really knowing what you're doing, and at 14, it's like, hey, this is kind of cool, man. Let's go, yeah.
Yeah, at 14, I had I didn't have, my uncle needed somebody to drive when he would drink, so he taught me to drive. So that's kind of how all that came about. So I was driving. I drove all the time at 14.
Hell yeah.
When I went to get my driver's license at 16, the North Carolina State Trooper said, I know people that's drove all their life can't drive as good as you do. He didn't realize I've been driving for 2.5 years already.
So
That's our experience.
Yeah.
so
Go ahead, Matt.
so what all do you offer?
So right in the distillery. So right now I've got my Stony Creek moonshine. It's 91 proof. It's corn, barley, and rye. That's the sweet mash. And then and the area of the county we're in, Stony Creek, and we're on Highway 91. I was taking it to 90 proof and hit 91, and a light bulb went off. Hell, we're on Highway 91. Proof it to 91.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, whatever you got to do. Yeah.
And then there's a mountain spring fed waterfall about 5 miles above us called the Blue Hole. That's in the state park that people come from all over the United States to see. So I wanted to do a sour mash of it, and the TTB views that as two different products. So I submitted my sour mash recipe and got it finished. And the first time I was going to proof it down to see where I wanted to sell it at, I ended up proofing it down to 106. So it's 106 proof sour mash of the Stony Creek moonshine. Extremely smooth. To me, it's smoother than the Stony Creek moonshine, but it gets a little bit more of the rye comes out in it.
Okay.
And I've got people that come and buy. I've got 2 guys that come and buy a bottle every day of the Blue Hole, and they bring me the bottles back as they, when they basically empty a bottle every night. I don't know how they do it, but they empty a bottle of Blue Hole every night, and it's 106 proof. Then I've got my old family rum recipe that I call Carolina Ridge Runner rum. It's just made with, I use the Caribbean Black Pearl Fancy Molasses, dark brown, light brown sugar, and raisins. It's just a typical heavy molasses rum, rum. And I do it at 100 proof. The really nice thing about all of my stuff, when I submitted it to the TTB for approval, I submitted everything with a range of, for all of my non-post flavored stuff, I submitted everything as a range from 90 to 160, so I can sell it anywhere in that range if I want to. I
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
probably a Tennessee thing.
No, it's a federal thing.
Oh, federal thing.
Yeah, that's federal.
Is it you got to pay a different amount, or is it a different range on the taxes or something?
All your federal tax is paid on a proof gallon, and a proof gallon is a gallon at 100 proof. Yeah. So if you've got 100 gallons at 50 proof, you're paying tax on 200 gallons. Is the way it works. So I've got that. Then I've got I'm kind of going through the first 6 that I started out with. And then the next one was my strawberry rhubarb moonshine.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. The first batch was 98 proof. And it's just strawberries and rhubarb, and then distilled, and then I barrel aged it like you do a whiskey or a bourbon. I did a rapid age on it and then put it in a barrel.
See, when I saw you were coming out with that, I was curious if that was going to be a flavored or a clear, but it's a clear, correct?
It's a clear. Only color comes from the barrel.
Yeah, and then you barrel age it.
Yeah. So the second batch of it was actually better at 107 proof than the first one was at 98. So I left it at 107. So right now, what I've got now is 107 proof. And, with small batch distilling, stuff like that happens,
Oh, yeah.
So I've got that. Then I've got the blackberry elderberry, which would be a brandy, except for the TTB considers elderberry to be a spice and not a fruit. So they wouldn't let me call it a brandy. And it's 90 proof. It's really good. I originally thought I was going to proof it to like 100, 105, but JB Rader and Chris Fortner was here on the day that we were running it, and I let them taste it. And Chris said, "Won't you take that down about 90 and let me taste it?" And they both went nuts over it. I tasted it. I couldn't believe how good it was. So that's how that one ended up at 90 proof. So that was and then elderberry bliss. Was the only post flavored thing that we started out with, and it's our neutral spirit and my neutral spirit is not cane sugar based sugar shine. I use dextrose instead of cane. To me, it gives you a lot cleaner.
Yeah. I agree.
So much easier ferment.
Yeah.
It's already broken down.
And it's less expensive too.
Yeah.
Than cane sugar. If you buy it in bulk. So that's the reason I did that, and I just use it in a elderberry syrup we make and mix that together, and that was the lowest proof thing I had, and it was 65 proof. So that was what we opened up with and did really well with, and then I started adding other stuff. So I added, let's see, the next thing I added was I guess the next thing I added was the Lynn Valley Farmers Reserve corn. It's a 100% sweet corn, fresh sweet corn, cob and all.
Oh.
So basically took and shucked it and from a local farmer here, ran it through a new wood chipper that had stainless steel internals to grind it up really good, cooked it, used some alpha amylase to convert it and fermented it. And it has no sugar added, nothing. It's 100% pure sweet corn. It's 98 proof. And when you open the jar, you smell sweet corn. It hits you in the face. And when you taste it, it honestly tastes almost like you're drinking cream corn.
See that? So, Phil Billy's got a recipe. You run that fresh corn, dude. It's just like you're drinking some cream corn, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
And when I run that with a thumper, so back to my strawberry rhubarb and the blackberry elderberry, I run pot and worm. I don't run a thumper on my fruit stuff. So the next thing I added was, I guess the next thing I added was my apple cobbler. Everybody wanted an apple pie. I'm not an apple pie fan. Everybody makes it. So I changed it up and made it more of an apple cobbler, and everybody's went nuts over it. It's one of my best sellers. After that, I had ran and got bourbon in the barrel, so I did a rapid age on my bourbon and had it in a barrel aging, and got it to where I wanted it. And I was just going to leave it in there as long as I could. So. It was aging during all this. And then I did my Flaming Peach Mountain Brandy. It's wild. When I submitted the recipe, they wouldn't let me. The recipe, TTB wise, is Flaming Peach Mountain Brandy. That's what they let me call it. When I submitted the label, they wouldn't let me call it a Mountain Brandy. They made me remove Mountain Brandy. And so it's just Flaming Peach. But it's an old family recipe that was discovered in the back of a Bible. It's 103 proof, and it's malted oats, malted rye, and peaches. And that's it. It's clear, 103 proof. It's got the mouthfeel of the malted oats, a little bit of that rye on the front. And then when you swallow and take a breath, the peach hits you in the face. That's when you smell and taste peach.
So I think you've rattled off like 8 jars I want now, Tracy.
Are we making a road trip?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I can't. I'm like, yeah, okay, I need one of those. I'm like, I need one of those. Yeah. I'm like,
and then I've got, then I added my peach cobbler. So it's like the apple cobbler, but it's peach. And then I added the bourbon. And when I was in the process of figuring out where I wanted to proof the bourbon down to, I had regular customers that came in here all the time. So I pulled some out of the barrel and I proofed it, and it was 118 proof at cast strength. And I let them taste it, and everybody that tasted it begged me not to reduce it any. So I bottled it at cast strength, and it sells like crazy. Every bourbon drinker that tastes it loves it. Damon's had it, and he came over, and him and Wes and some of his friends, and every one of them love it. So it's a really good bourbon. And then I added the last thing I added was the blackberry cobbler, and I just added it like about a week ago, and I just realized I missed one, but I added the blackberry cobbler, and all my cobblers are 70 or 75 proof.
Nice.
I don't want to have anything that's down 30, 40. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then the one I left out is my best seller. I'm getting ready to have to do another batch of it, and that's my amaretto. It's unbelievably good. Everybody that tastes it loves it. And it's 70. It's a 70 proof amaretto.
I like my amaretto.
The last thing that I'm going to add, well, I've got two more things that's going to go on the shelf before the end of the year. One of them is my spiced rum. I used the 100 proof rum, and I've got it. The recipe's approved. I'm waiting on the label to be approved. John got one of his labels approved today, so there's a chance that it may be in my email that it's done. And then I'll bottle it. And the other thing that I have approved that I'm going to do is my all grain clear corn whiskey. So it's a combination of corn, malted barley, malted rye, malted wheat. And so that'll be the last thing probably I add between now and January.
Now, will you age that or keep that clear?
It's going to be clear. I actually submitted it as a all grain clear corn whiskey. The TTB actually approved it as a unaged clear whiskey. So that was, I had several people tell me that they'd never approve it, and they approved it without any question. So
Man,
that sounds like a good combination, though, that to be aged.
Yeah. And I may age it. I am going to do a couple of special runs. I have a version of that I do that's double rye, and it's one of my mistakes. So I was making it one time, and I messed up and put double the rye in it. I put rye in it, had a phone call, went and answered the phone. My buddy was with me, and he was a stir and everything. And when I went back, I put rye in it again, and I was like, well, wait a second, where'd the rest of that rye go? And he said, you'd already put rye in it once. So, and it turned out absolutely great. And everybody that's ever tasted that absolutely loves it. So my plan is I've got a new 25-gallon barrel, and I get all my barrels from Kelvin Cooperage in Kentucky. They've been great for me. They typically only made 50-gallon barrels, and for big distilleries. And once I got to talking to the sales guy, they're custom making me 15 gallons and 15-gallon barrels and 25-gallon barrels.
Oh yeah.
So they're great to work with. So I'm going to fill up a couple of those 25-gallon barrels, hopefully between now and January, and I'm going to let them age for 2 solid years so I can release it as a straight bourbon once they're done.
Man,
nice.
Sounds like you got a lot going on down there, brother.
Yeah. And I'm already talking. I'm probably going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit on a couple of things. I'm talking to a few people, 2 different people right now, really, about putting bottles out for them. One of them, I'll just go ahead. I mean, it's no secret. It'll be the first bottle that comes out. I'm going to put a bottle out for Chris Fortner. So we're going to have a bottle out for him. And then not really going to say the other ones yet, but we'll be putting out at least one more bottle after that. Well, probably 2 more, a bottle for 2 different people after that.
Well,
I like hearing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations, Chris. That's awesome.
Yes, congratulations.
And, Chris is a great guy. He's been down here several times. JB comes on a regular basis. And to me, the coolest thing about JB is he was here at grand opening, spent both days of grand opening, and then he was also here the day that we found out we won the Best of Tennessee competition for the state for distilleries, which is really cool. We'll talk about that in just a second. But
I was going to say, let's talk about that, but I'll let you. Yeah, go ahead.
So when JB was here, JB's tasted everything we've made, and JB gave me the ultimate compliment here in front of everybody that was here. He said, all this is great. He said, there's not a bad one of them. And he looked right at me and he said, I don't know that I know of anybody that can make better liquor than you can across the board. So that was a huge compliment from JB. And, stuff like that means more to me than anything. If I had to buy liquor to sell it, I wouldn't do it. The way I look at it is every bottle that walks out that door or every bottle that anybody tastes, that's my family heritage they're tasting. Yep. And if I'm not happy with it, it won't go out the door.
Well, and let's be honest, I feel like small batch distilleries, small batch distilling, in my experience, that gives you more of a taste of what you can make at home, and that's what we all like. That's what we all enjoy drinking, man. And it sounds like to me, you keep it simple, and that's basically it's easier to overthink things. And in my experience with it, it's easier to overthink things than just to try to keep it basic and simple, because that's really at the end of the day, it's not a really hard thing to do, man. It's a process. As long as you follow the process, you're going to get your results.
Yeah, and follow your processes. Be meticulous about keeping everything clean.
Yeah,
and doing things the same way and being good at measurements. Now you can just throw shit together and make good drinkable liquor, but the thing about it is you can't repeat it every time. You can't be consistent that way. And that's the reason, I measure everything. I try to do everything the right way, unless I do something stupid and put double the rye in something. I did just get reminded that I left out one of my products that I've got on the shelf. I got a lot, but my pure apple brandy. So it is a true apple brandy. It's made from 50% Stamen wine sap, 50% Fuji, and I proofed it to 90 proof, and it is a really, really good brandy. Yeah. So I guess I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, that's what you're here for.
Hey, that's what you're
supposed to be.
And not giving y'all a chance to ask me questions, but you brought up the Best of Tennessee thing. So that I'm humbled by and blown away by. One, we've been getting a lot of 5-star reviews. We've been on the news several times, been in the papers, and all that was great. And the community is really supporting us, unbelievably well. And because we're the first distillery here in 120 years. So when we started through this process, started doing some research and thought, wonder if there's ever been a legal distillery here in this county. And we found out there was one, the Goods Family Distillery that closed in 1905. And they actually moved to Bristol and then closed permanently in 1915 before Prohibition. And so we found that out. So that was really cool. And so this community has really been good to us. Originally, the county commissioners and stuff, I don't think really wanted us, wanted it to be here. As a matter of fact, I had county commissioners tell me that Carter County was a dry county, which is ridiculous because there's bars that serve beer. There's bars in town that serve liquor by the drink, but they were trying to, and there's liquor stores, but they were trying to say it was a dry county. But they opted out. They opted into distilleries when Tennessee opened it up, and when they did that, it removed all say. They have no control over it whatsoever. So that is the only reason we're really able to be here. The only rule is we had to be at least 750 feet from the closest church or school. And believe it or not, in this county, that's hard to do. There's not a whole lot of places. But September the 16th, we found out that we had been nominated for the Guide to Tennessee Best of Tennessee Distilleries in the distillery class, which it floored me to be nominated. And there was a lot of big distilleries in that competition. And then we found out the voting ended September 30th, so we only were in it 2.5 weeks. And I got notified about the first week in October by the Best of Tennessee folks that we actually ended up winning, which just floored me. And a lot of people shared it in the moonshine community and the different groups and stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people voted, and I really appreciate everybody that voted. But that was a huge honor for us, is to win that, and only being open just a few months, and really won it in 2 weeks when it's a year-long vote. And they're voting now for next year. So voting's open. If anybody wants to go vote, you can still go vote.
Oh, yeah. So how big a still do you run at the distillery?
So I've got a 150-gallon with a 50-gallon thumper and worm that I built. Anybody's seen it? There's pictures of it and videos of it everywhere. And then I've got a 15-gallon still that I finished last week. That's the 1/10th version of it. So it's a mirror image of it, but in a 15-gallon size. And then I'm going to use that for test batches and stuff.
I think that's so cool. Go to all the distilleries, man. You see these big, massive stills. Then you always see one somewhere in the distillery. You see a little test still.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's cool as shit, man. That that's where it's at, man. You test that small batch and you figure out from there what works and what doesn't.
And I'm building a big boy too. So I'm working on a 250-gallon jacketed stainless steel.
There you go.
Once I get it finished, it's going to have a 12-inch. It's probably going to have a 12-inch column on it. That's probably going to have 6 sections. I think I can fit 6 sections on top of it in this building with a defragmenter and all that. And
wow.
But I'm going to fix it where I can run it in pot still mode or column mode, and so I can run it with a thumper, without a thumper, and then I may build a shotgun condenser for it, and then I may not. I may just go ahead and build another 50-gallon worm to hook to it, because that worm I built, it's amazing how good it works. The big thing I've got to do is build me a chiller. Because right now,
I was going to ask if you run a chiller. That was one of my questions I was going to ask.
Right now, to cool that water, I'm just running city water in and letting it run down the drain.
Ooh.
And this will give you an idea of how much I'm running. I've had water bill as high as $600 and used over 50,000 gallons of water in a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes I run 3 days a week. Y'all seen my post.
Yeah.
To make all this alcohol by myself, I've really done a lot of running.
Wow.
But as far as a sacrifice, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it.
Yeah. Like you were saying, you had a little extra time. So when you got your time, you got to make do with the time that you have. So get them things running. So, I mean, nobody runs it but you. You're the only one that makes it. So do you ever plan on having, maybe eventually getting somebody in to help you? Do you have anybody that comes in and does any help for you, or nothing?
Right now in the distillery, the only help I have is my wife doing bottling and labeling, and Dina, our bartender or mixologist, whatever you want to call her. She can make anything, so I guess she'd be a mixologist. She's been bartending for over 20 years, and pretty much anybody who walks in that wants a drink, by the time they get done with their tasting, she says, well, which one was your most favorite? And they'll tell them, and she'll end up making them something. And I haven't seen anybody be disappointed yet.
Hey, nothing better than have somebody making good drinks with your product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I've got some friends here locally that are that have offered to come help if I need it. So, I'm not opposed to that. And
I'm sure you could probably get Wes to come up and put some hours in.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you would.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure Megan and Josh might want to get rid of him every now and then. Sydney, go on, Josh. Go on, Wes.
Oh yeah, and Wes is welcome here anytime.
Man, I love that kid, man.
Yeah.
He finally got my cell phone number, and I'll be at work, and he'll hit me up at work, and I'll be right in the middle of doing something, man. I'll tell you what, that kid will bring a smile to your face no matter what you're doing. That's for damn.
Oh yeah. And but yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of fun. We had live music in here Saturday night for the first time. We've been having food trucks as much as we possibly can get them, because there's not a lot of good food in this county. And so people have been really coming out to support the food trucks and stuff. So that just helps us. And this past week, we actually had our best week we've had since grand opening. We were really close. We were within $300 of what we did during the grand opening week this past week.
Oh, yeah.
So nice. Every week's been better than the one before. And, we kind of leveled off and went down a little bit after grand opening just from the newness. But we've got people coming in from all over. The furthest away we've had someone come that said they came specifically to us was from Phoenix. He was moving back to North Carolina and came through here on his way moving back specifically to come try some stuff.
Hey, a real quick question. Do you have like a guest book when you walk in for people to sign to tell where they're coming from?
I hadn't thought about that till you just said that. That would be a cool idea.
So the reason why my grandfather, when I was younger, he was the vice president of Hadley Pottery in downtown Louisville there. And when you would walk in, they would have a guest book, and you'd be amazed some of the names, political celebrities, actresses, musicians that would come into this pottery place and sign their guest book and buy stuff. So kind of, how far away people would even drive to come visit. So kind of be a neat idea to kind of give you an idea. Yeah. And it could kind of give you like future addresses if they want to give you that for like a newsletter or something like that. You guys, stuff like that. So might be an idea for something for you to look forward to. Or
that's a good idea. It's something that I hadn't thought of.
There you go.
I'm open to suggestions from anybody. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different. I'm not set in my ways, even like my steels. If somebody wants something outside of what I build it. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I built water filters. I built urns for ashes. I'm getting ready to build a copper hand washing station for a synagogue, I think.
So you're a true coppersmith. You're not just building stills, right?
No, I'll build anything anybody wants.
Hell yeah. So is that something, how soon do you plan on retiring and then rolling it, just kind of that being your retirement gig? Is that kind of the... Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, I work for the federal government. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I've been with the VA over 25 years. I really won't plan on staying 5 more years. If I stay till I get my 30, my retirement is much better. So that's my plan, is to make it to 30 if at all possible, unless the distillery just does so much that $3,000 or $4,000 a month don't matter. And, that's a lot of money to give away,
right?
In 5 years we'll turn around and it'll be over,
Yeah.
As long as my health stays good. I'm fairly young.
The distillery will keep you busy to where that time will blow on by, I'm sure.
And I'm fairly young. I'm 53. So, 5 more years, I'll only be 58.
Right. That's still a good age to kick back. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then just focus on the distillery. And my wife will probably retire before I do. She's a school teacher.
Hell yeah.
She teaches middle school math and science, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So if I had her job, I'd already lost it.
That's 2 of us.
So out of everything you've ever made, what do you like to make and drink yourself?
That's a tough one. Out of everything I've ever made, that double rye is probably that I turned into bourbon is probably I'm a bourbon drinker. That's my favorite.
Me too.
And I really like my bourbon that I'm making now. I really like my strawberry rhubarb. I use that strawberry rhubarb and make an old fashioned, and it makes one hell of an old fashioned.
So what you use a little bit of bitters in that? What kind of bitters do you use?
So in that strawberry rhubarb old fashioned, I use a maple bacon simple syrup. I use chocolate bitters, chocolate bitters, cherry bitters, orange bitters.
I like the chocolate bitters too.
Yeah, and then I'd use just a little bit. I use a really good cocktail cherry. I don't just use maraschino cherries. And then I use put just a little bit of that cocktail cherry juice in it.
Right.
Stir it up, and then now I bought a really good smoker to smoke the smoke old fashioned, and I smoke it with cherry wood. It's pretty special.
So is that a cocktail that you offer?
Oh yeah.
I was
going to ask that.
Yeah, I mean that would be something that you enjoy drinking, man. Why not? If everybody else enjoys it as well. Yeah.
Honestly, my most popular cocktails are probably that old fashioned. Now this is on nights that Dina's not here, so Dina's typically not here on Wednesday. I'm not open on Monday or Tuesday. Dina's typically not here on Wednesdays or Thursdays unless we have a food truck. I'm not a bartender. I'll be the first to tell you I can make liquor, but I'm not a bartender.
There's a difference.
I can pour shots.
Yeah,
I can pour some badass shots.
Yeah. I can pour shots. I can mix it with Coke, with a soft drink, or some juice. But when I'm running the bar, my most popular is the old fashioned, the strawberry rhubarb old fashioned, and something I call a flaming peach lemonade. So I take that flaming peach mountain brandy, lemonade, and a little bit of grenadine. That's really popular. Apple brandy and Dr. Enough. I know you Ohio boys don't know what Dr. Enough is, but it was an original. It's what I'm drinking right now. It's the original energy drink that was born here in East Tennessee. So that one's really popular. And then I do something I call the bootlegger's cobbler. Is I take the apple cobbler, the apple brandy, some cream soda, and a shot of vanilla coffee creamer and put in it. And that one's really popular too.
That sounds good.
That does sound good.
Nice. The original 7-Up.
So basically what you're telling us, if we come to visit, we got to bring a driver.
Yeah. You want a driver. We actually have a regular customer that his son is an Uber driver. So I've got his phone number if anybody ever needs an Uber. And
are there places to stay close to your play? We have hotels nearby.
No, you don't want to stay in Elizabethon. You want to stay in Johnson City or Bristol.
All right. Yeah.
And we're only about 25 minutes from the casino in Bristol. So
hell yeah.
Nice. We got casinos here to lose my money in. Like traveling other places to lose my money.
Yeah. I give my money to my own state.
I don't even like giving it to them. They get enough of it as it is with all the taxes they get out of me.
I call
it
the
things I enjoy.
Makes me feel better.
No, it ain't donated when they take it.
I've got a customer that goes over there regularly, and I told him, I said, my dad told me when I was a boy that anything that backs its ass up against the wall and challenges the world, you better leave it alone. Yep. So that's the way I look at casinos, especially slot machines.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yep.
So, do you in your copper business? Do you ship all over? I mean, what's the farthest away? What's the farthest away you ship to still?
I'm not real good geographically, but it would have to either be to Australia or Russia. So, I've got stills in Canada, Scotland, Ireland, a couple places in England, Australia, every state in the United States except for Hawaii. I haven't shipped one to Hawaii. And in the last year, I 2 to Russia.
Oh yeah.
1 to Moscow, and I can't remember the name of the other part of Russia. But both of them were 10-gallon stills, and it costs more to ship them than it costs for the still.
I was going to ask you, do you have a particular setup that's the most popular that you sell? Is there one particular size?
For beginners, the most popular is probably a 10-gallon. Mm-hmm. For anybody that's done a little bit of distilling or that has the budget, probably the most popular is the 20-gallon. Because there's only $300 difference between a 10 and a 20.
Right.
And
if the beginners, if you know as a beginner, you might as well just buy that 20.
Buy the 20, man.
Anyway.
It's ideal. It's ideal for a home distiller.
They're not gonna know.
It's the size, you know. It's the perfect size for a home distiller.
Yeah, and I do. It's the magic number. Everything I do is 100% tri-clamp. I don't do any unions, paste caps, or any of that stuff.
That's why I like you.
And everything 10-gallon and above, I put a heating element port in it, standard, vacuum relief, automatic vacuum relief valve. Try to make it something that, one, is easy for the beginner, and 2, makes everybody life easier for anyone that's using it. Y'all run all tri-clamp setups. I don't.
Well, and then when you build something out of copper like that, you might be buying it for your hobby, but that still was going to be in your family for as long as your family keeps it in your family. That's a lifetime thing that maybe your great grandkids break out and find or something. It's more than just Dad bought a still. Dad got another hobby. It's something that's going to be, that could be in the family forever.
And I do something that no other steel builder really does, is I can engrave anything you want on it too.
I've seen some of that. Yeah.
On the copper, I've done a lot of really cool trophies. I've done a lot of full custom, and there's a couple that no one's ever seen except for the customer because they requested it that way. My favorite steel I've ever built was I did a 30-gallon for a guy that was a retired 82nd Airborne Ranger. He was a special operator, and the entire steel, I think I spent 64 hours engraving on it.
Wow.
Engraved pictures of him hanging from a tree in a parachute, and all of his buddies laughing at him. Different pictures he sent me from different missions and old friends and friends that had passed away in combat and that kind of stuff. So the whole steel was to commemorate his time in the military.
So hold up a second. So is that another business venture that you also have, Tracy?
What do you mean?
Do you do laser engraving as well?
Yeah, I do laser engraving. That's just an added part of the Ace Custom Copper.
So, man, no wonder you're tired, Tracy. Damn.
Oh, I've got stuff 3D printing right now too.
When I got to thinking, I'm like, man, when I first kind of remember seeing your name, I remember seeing the copper, and I was like, man, he's been doing some engraving for a little while now, I do believe.
Yeah. And I've got 2 engravers. I've got a 100-watt MOPA fiber 2.5D that will cut. It's so strong it'll cut holes and port holes in gun barrels, and it'll cut. It'll port gun slides and all that.
Wow!
And
sounds like another hobby.
Yeah, and then I've got a UV 10-watt that'll do glass, plastic, wood, metal. Yeah, but it's a different type of laser where it's UV. And then I've got 2 different 3D printers, and I keep them running about all the time. So, when I said I wanted to open told my wife I wanted to open the distillery, she said, like you need something else to do.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll be honest.
But this doesn't feel like work. I love it.
Yeah, hobbies are fun, and you're making money at a hobby, so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate, you were able to find time to come on with us, Tracy. I know we've been talking back and forth for a while, and you made it clear. You said, man, I start at 4 a.m. and I go late. So I do appreciate you giving us your time today to come on and talk about what you do, man, because everything I've seen you on Facebook, we've not had a chance to meet yet or anything, but I'm looking forward to it. But dude, you 100% give yourself to the craft and to the hobby. And I can tell you truly love what you do, man. And I appreciate seeing everything on Facebook and social media. And you also give back. You're another one that uses your Facebook, your platform to reach out and help anybody that you can help. And I appreciate that as well. Yeah. And I know a lot of other people do. So it's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I actually build and donate probably 4 or 5 stills a year to different charities for different things. So I'm glad you brought that up before this was over, because we're still doing the pull tabs for Doug Criswell. Me and John Bentz are, a lot of people have donated items to that. Sean donated a class. Phil Billy donated a controller, doing a 10-gallon, one of my 10-gallon stills as a JB Raider edition. JB's going to autograph it and all that. So if you haven't got tabs yet, reach out to me or John. I think we're probably about halfway through that board, so there's still plenty of tabs. It really helped Doug out, help him get back in, get in the house and get out of the situation he's in. Shameless plug.
If that's on your page later, I'll try to get it and maybe share it to the Still Talking page, or if Easy can work some way to get that on here to help him out, man, that'd be awesome. Find a way to get that.
It's $25 a tab, and 100% of the money is going straight to Doug. So he needs to put a roof on his house, do some mold remediation, do that kind of stuff so he can move back into his childhood home. He hasn't worked in nearly a year since falling, and it's so close it could happen to any of us. Mm-hmm. He was getting out of the shower, fell, hit his neck on the side of the bathtub, lost the use of his right arm. He drives a dump truck. He's on the dump truck and drove a dump truck for his whole life and hasn't worked since.
Damn.
And, that's how close any of us could be to being in the same situation.
It's crazy you say that, man. A guy that I know, his brother fell like that in the shower and he died from it. So it's a simple slip like that. You don't know how fast it can go. So I feel bad for that. What's his name? Doug?
Yeah, Doug Criswell. He's a great guy. He always helps anytime, when he was working, he always helped anytime there was anything that come up. So, I think, a lot of Roger Dingy, a bunch of us know him well. And he's extremely appreciative of all the help. I noticed that I haven't been paying attention to any of these questions or comments over here in the right hand side. Good. But I do want to answer Motor City Hellbilly Frank's question. No, all stills don't require serial numbers. All stills in a legal distillery requires a serial number. The only stills I put a serial number on that go to a general user is the JB Raider Signature Series.
Now, he's asking, like, the columns, are they different than the still, or is it all one part of a still?
Oh yeah, it's all one part.
So like what if you were to get in another column that went on your still?
It's still the same. Yeah, it's still good.
Then it classifies the same. You don't have to do anything extra for it. I think that's kind of what he was asking. So.
Okay. The federally, the only thing you serial number is your pot.
Okay. So everything after that, you can plug and play and add on. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But the pot's always got to be there.
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. I was going to ask that earlier. Can you modify and play with your stills in any way, shape, as long as the pot stays? The pot is the pot, but anything after the pot, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that I build mine the way I do, where where the line arm connects via tri-clamp on the cap, to where you can, I can run mine in a traditional pot thumper worm with a straight line arm. I can do it with a 45 down line arm to the thumper worm. I can run it without the thumper and still run it with the 45 or the straight. Or if I want to, I can put a column. If I had tall enough roof in here, I could put a column right on top at 150 and keep on rolling. But
I know a fella that cut a hole in his roof, ran it through, and then back down the other side of the roof over the rafter. It worked pretty good, you know what I'm saying? Just saying. Like,
well,
there's a will, there's a way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a will.
Y'all saw that big 750 I did that went to California that had this.
That thing was huge,
18-foot column in the center. You know, that was setting. It was 18 foot from the ground to the top of the deflagmenter.
Where did that go to? That wasn't a distillery, was it?
No, that went to a scientific research company in California.
That's what it was. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and it was so big that we put it in a container and bolted it to the floor. Bolted the racks to the floor, and shipped it out there in a container.
Wow. That was badass. I remember what you following that process through on Facebook. That thing was badass, man.
Yeah, 750-gallon pot with 18-foot. It had a 5-foot column on the pot itself, and then it went over and had a 18-foot column that was mounted on a base beside of it at ground level, and then it had a 450-gallon condenser that had, if I'm remembering correctly, it had 120 feet of 2-inch copper coil in it.
Wow. Wild. That is wild.
Your worm can never the worm bath can never be big enough.
Right.
It can never be too big. Like if you could pop your coil in a tote of water, do it.
Yeah.
Like you can put it in a swimming pool, do it. You know, it can never be too big, man.
Yeah, the key to the worm is keeping it.
Yep.
If you don't have, like, the bigger the bath, the less water you have to move because it takes so much longer to heat up.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's crazy the difference when you go from like a 5-gallon worm on a 20-gallon still and just double it to a 10.
Yeah.
In the same size still, the less amount of water you have to move is insane.
Yeah.
And if you ever get a chance to, you run the 40, 50-gallon barrels, worms, like, dude, you're just like, damn, I didn't have to move very little water for this big old still, and it makes you a lot happier.
Yeah, my water stays consistently at 54 degrees.
Just pushing it straight out the straight out of the tank.
And that's only turned on about halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's after 8. I better get off here and get home and eat. I haven't even eaten.
Well, listen, Tracy, I appreciate every minute of the time you gave us tonight.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I really do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's been an honor to have you on, brother. It really has.
I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you get in the area, stop by and see me at the distillery.
Yeah, we'll be down to see you.
We'll be down, Tracy. We will come down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank
take
you,
care.
Tracy.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. We appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Let me try to think. I think we've got the girls from Best Friends Distillery on next week. They're out of Illinois. The one girl has some moonshine heritage in her family, so it's going to be interesting to talk to those ladies.
Nice.
Sweet.
So there was a question earlier. Did enjoy listening to Tracy talk, man. I didn't realize his history. His history was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize all the history he had behind it. I really got to talk to Tracy a whole lot. So this was real awesome.
Yeah, we really didn't dig much into his history. It sounds like we could have Tracy on and he could give us from 14 years old from we went 13 and 14 and we stopped. So Tracy,
awesome.
get you back on, brother.
The fun stories.
John, we didn't get a chance to answer your question earlier. I think it's marketing. You see it a lot from big distilleries, 30, 40 proof. It's money, and it's marketing. Yeah. And it's for the ladies. The lady's going to drink that 30 or 40 proof. She's who's going to buy it, and they can call it legally. They can technically call it moonshine, but it's all marketing. It's all marketing and smoke and mirrors and for sales, and that's what it is. But you heard what Tracy said. Well, he didn't have anything lower than 75. Yeah. You go into some of these other small distilleries, they're going lower than 60 or 50,
right?
And it's money. Like a lot of it's money. You won't see it in the backwoods like you would. Like you're like, oh, keep it high, because that's what people tell you they want because they get more bang for their buck. But, when you go into the store, that 40 proof, 30 proof, it's what you're going to buy and you're going to sip on all night. And it's a marketing thing, man, nowadays.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
it's just what you're going to get from distilleries. It's about making money. So, yes, we very did much enjoy Tracy. Hopefully we'll have him on again. And
sounds like we need to get him on again.
I already forgot what Uncle Joey said was next week because I wasn't really listening to him.
It's the ladies.
Nobody listens to Uncle Joey.
It's the ladies from Best Friends Distilling. They're out of Illinois.
Nice. We're at in Illinois.
I'm not real sure exactly where, but they've got, like I said, they've got some moonshine history. I saw one of them said one of their grandfathers was a bootlegger. So I'm interested to hear the story.
Yeah, I bet it's Southern. Argenta? I'm going with Argenta. Central Illinois. They're in the middle.
There you go.
Nice.
So I look forward to having those ladies on next week.
Y'all have a good night. We'll talk to y'all later.
Everybody.
Thanks again, Tracy. Everybody. We're going to start hanging out afterwards and talking about people more often when they leave.
You mean like Sean the piece of shit?
Well, you got to show up for us to talk about you after. We just talk about him the whole time. So
Sean who?
Yeah, who? Y'all have a good night.